guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is long overdue. I remember mentioning in my other video that I was going to record a video on how you guys can study and pass your permit test on the very first try, and somebody actually reminded me today, so the video is here. Okay, so pardon me, I'll be looking to my right, which is your left, because I have my notes here and I want everything to be organized and I want everything to look good. First of all, I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about the written test and what it is and what it entails and all that. Okay, so the written test is what you write to get your L license, which is just your learner's permit, which allows you to be on the road for somebody with a G to teach you, or for you to just be on the road like whilst there's somebody with a G beside you helping you out. So the test is really all about just road safety, road rules, traffic signals, and road rules. So if you know all that, you are good for the test. You don't have to know how to drive before you go and take the written test. Okay, so when you first think of, oh, I want to have a license, so I want to be able to drive, the first thing that I will advise you to do is to call your DMV, and in my case it's called Access PAI. So the first thing to do is to call Access PAI and ask them for availability, because they're usually booked. And if you did watch my previous video, I was going to wait for like a month before I took my test, and I didn't want to do that, so I had to go all the way to another city to take my test. If you've not watched that video, please go and watch that video. Okay, so you have to call them and let them know what you want to do, and then find a date that is suitable for you. I would advise that you give yourselves at least 2 weeks maximum to be able to prepare for the test. I don't think you need more than 2 weeks, because the test is not that hard, guys. It's really not. The next thing is the handbook. All that you need for this test is the handbook. The handbook literally has everything inside of it. Like, people have messaged me to ask me what they have to learn for the test and like what did I study for the test. I'm like, everything is in the handbook. The handbook has over 100 pages and you don't have to read the whole handbook. Like I mentioned, the test is going to be about road rules, road safety, traffic signals, and all that. So so far as you know those things, like those are the things that you should focus on when you're reading the handbook. You don't have to go through the handbook A to Z. I mean, if you are that type of learner where you want to know everything, I feel like that's also good, but it's everything that you read in the handbook is not gonna be on the test. The thing that you really need is the handbook. The handbook has a lot of information and it can be overwhelming when you're reading it, but as I said, if you do know what the test is going to be about, you will know what to look for in the handbook, so that you don't have to go through the whole handbook. Okay, next thing is going to be practice test. I'm going to put 3 links down below. Those are the tests that I was taking before I actually went to take my test. Those were the practice tests that I was doing almost every single day before I went to take my test. Those are the 3 tests that I was doing before I actually went to take my test, and all the practice tests online are free, so you don't have to pay for anything. So it's a very good opportunity for you to practice before the actual test. And as I mentioned in that video, everything that I practiced, or everything that was on my practice test, was on my exam. Like every single thing, every single question. Like I became so used to the questions because I was doing the practice test over and over again, and that's what you have to do. Like if you get 100% on your first try, like go over it again, do it again. If you make a mistake, like make sure you know where you're making the mistake, like what the answer is to that question, because on that day you might actually face that question and you might make that same mistake. So it's very necessary for you to go over the test over and over again. And also, people are asking me for the links to the test, and I always said that although I'm going to put the 3 links down below, what you could also do is you could just type because my province is PEI, I'll just go on Google and type PEI driver's permit test. Just type PEI driver's permit test and it's going to just show up like a whole bunch of practice tests that you can do, and all those questions, they are all the same no matter the link that you click on. Like they are all different websites, but the questions are all the same, and that goes to show you guys that the questions are all the same. Like in all the website. Like there's really no change, and that is the same question that you're going to face that day on your exam. So yeah, take advantage of the practice test. And so one thing I can also say that if you live in, let's say, Ontario, when you're watching this video and you're going to take a test and you don't know where to find like practice tests, you can just go on Google and type Ontario's driver's permit test. If you're in Alberta, you can type Alberta's driver's permit test, you know, your province, and then driver's permit test, practice test, or test. You don't even have to put the practice, so just come up with like the practice test and questions for you to do.
No one can do it like you.
Again, practice and practice and practice. Keep doing it. If you get 100%, keep going, keep doing that. A whole bunch of questions. Try and go through everything. Don't wait till like the day before. Like use the 2 weeks, as I said, to like go through all the questions, so that on that day, like whatever question that you get, you know that you're going to ace it. And also one thing that I would ask you guys to pay close attention to is like, these questions are in the form of how many meters should you park away from, let's say, a fire hydrant or from a stop sign. You know, those things, they were like my problems. Like I think that was what I got wrong for me to even have that. Those are the type of questions that I got wrong for me to get that 93%. So those are the questions that I would say you should pay much attention to, because it could be in feet, it could be in, is it feet or inches? Could be in meters or inches or something like that. So you just have to take note of it. 12 meters, 60 meters, like whatever it is, just pay attention to it. The distance between you and the car ahead of you, like you have to know all those things. And all those things are in the handbook, and they are all in the practice test if you do take the practice test. So the more you take the practice test, the more you will be used to the type of questions that you are going to get. For PSA I, the test just entails 40 questions, and I believe 15 of them are like a filling, like let's say, should I say fill in the blank? Yeah, I think it's just a fill in the blank. So for that 15 questions, you have to know their signs, like have to know how the stop sign looks like, the do not enter sign, the one-way sign, the speed limit sign. So how it is that like all the signs are like printed on the paper, and then all the names of the signs are on like the other end of the paper. So number 1 could be stop sign, so you just write number 1 under the picture of the stop sign. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say, but I will try and see if I can get a picture. I don't know how, but I'll try and get a picture and put it on the screen so you guys can see how it looks like. Yeah, and then I think the remaining 25 are just the road rules, the traffic rules and all that, and all of them are objectives, 4 objectives, so you just choose the best answer for that. Next, I'm just going to give you guys just a side note. For PSA, the driver's permit test costs $20 to take the test, and if you do miss the test that day, you do have to pay another $20 to rebook and take the test. And also, there's no need to be scared. It's really not a hard task. Like you can get it on your first try. You have to get 80% to pass. That is 32 over 40 or something. So like it's not too bad. Like, and the fact that it's objectives too, like come on guys, you guys can do this. Like it's really not that hard. Like all those people messaging me saying this and this and that, like it's really not that hard. Like for me, it wasn't hard. If you took it and you didn't pass on the first try, I would say that you didn't put in the effort. I wouldn't say that you are dumb or you don't know anything, but you just didn't put in the effort, because if you put in the effort, it's really going to pay off. So there's really no need to be scared. And also on that day, you will need a couple of documents. I wouldn't go so much into that, because on the day that you book, you'll be given a paper, and that paper will just give you we'll have a list of documents that you have to bring on that day. And I think that's pretty much it. That's also it, guys. For those pressuring me to make this video is finally here, and that's really it. There's nothing else to it. You just have to keep reading the handbook, keep practicing, have your $20, and have all the documents that they are going to ask you to bring. You will need I think 2 utility bills and then your ID. It could be your passport or whatever, and that's pretty much all that you need. So yeah, okay guys, so that's the end of this video, and I want to know from you guys what video you guys would like to see from me, the type of videos that you guys want to see from me. So go ahead and leave those in the comment section, and if you do have any question about anything I've said today, go ahead and leave it in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in another video.